July the 5th, 2003. 17 years ago today, I published my very first blog entry. I'd given it some thought prior to publication, and I'd done some research. The internet wasn't as widely available then to everyone as it is now. For example, you used to meet people and say, "Are you on the internet? Do you have an email address?" Now you just give them your details and you assume that everyone else is on the same track as you, and they probably are as well. But I started that very first blog entry, or I published that very first blog entry today, all those years ago. It was called On the Trail of the Tinker, and it was known, the title of the blog, Stuart Blaw's Angling Journal. And I did print copies off in the early days. So as you can see there, just holding up a selection, or 3 out of the 5 that I've managed to find this morning. And the blog entry that accompanies this video on my site today, I will post the link to that very first entry. Did I realise back then where it would go? I suppose I didn't really give it much thought. I did know that I was in for the long haul. I didn't think that it was going to be a fad, because as I've said, I put some time and thought, preparation into it. And from there, it was a weekly post every Saturday. And people used to look forward to it, and if I hadn't posted in the morning, I used to get emails in the afternoon saying, "Is everything okay? You haven't posted your blog entry yet." And I was very, very encouraged in those early days. I continued, although having said that, I didn't post just because people read it. I did it because I enjoyed it. That's the key. If you're a blogger, it has to be about enjoyment. It's not about making yourself famous or getting hits or views or shares or likes or whatever it may be. That will wear off. It has to be deeper than that, something that you enjoy. And over those years, that Saturday publication became a couple of times a week, because I do fish a lot, so there was a lot of stuff to get out there. And then where I am now, and I've been there for a few years, I post on a daily basis, sometimes 1 post, sometimes 2, 3 maybe, depends on what's going on. And it's more than just fishing now, so the title is Welcome to My World, as well as angling, football, anything that comes to mind, nature, anything that happens to crop up in my daily adventures, I will share online. If you are a blogger or you're thinking of starting out, I did post some stuff recently, some tips on blogging. I can't emphasize enough the importance of planning it out, having vision, knowing exactly where you're going. Of course, it will evolve along the way. That's only natural, like mine has, from a Saturday angling post to a daily post that is much wider, or daily posts that are much wider in content. But I do look back to that early one, 17 years ago, and I think how my life has changed very much since then. Back then, I was heavily involved in Africa. I just actually a few years before, 3 years before, made my last trip to Ghana, and I had travelled extensively across Africa and North America and Europe as well. Prior to that, doing missions work, charity work, all that type of stuff that I used to be involved with, and I still am to a much lesser extent now, 17 years later, working full-time in the world of football at the moment. You don't know where life takes you. What will the next 17 years hold for my blog? Well, first of all, and I don't want to sound morbid here, I'll be happy just to be alive in 17 years' time, because I will then be in my mid to late 70s. Wow, time flies, doesn't it, when you look back over your life. So, if I can be healthy, of sound mind, happy, contented, and peaceful, do you know what? That's all that I want to tick as far as boxes are concerned. I'll be still blogging if that's the case, and who knows what the next 17 years will hold for me and for you as well. In fact, life moves so quickly, who knows what the next 17 months or weeks or even days has in store for all of us. Anyway, check out the site, read that first blog, and if you haven't been on my website before, you can catch up with all the other stuff that's on there as well. If you are a blogger yourself, keep at it, enjoy it. That's the key. That's the motivation for me. I enjoy blogging, I enjoy sharing, and I do get a lot of really good positive feedback, so that's always an encouragement as well. Out and about yourself? I'll tell you what, later today I'm going back to the place that featured in that very first blog entry from 2003. As they say, watch this space.